Hi, welcome to OWAD Today. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue unpacking some Chinese translations of Western concepts. And today we're going to talk about 纳米技术, nanotechnology. And 纳米 is Chinese translation of this nano thing. And 纳米, actually this 米 is Chinese distance measurement that came from rice probably, but I don't exactly, well, I guess both na and mi are Chinese sound translation of English concept because na is the closest we can come up with nano, right? Nano. And then mi is the Chinese sound similarity to meter, right? So these are sound translations that got incorporated into our language so much that now I look at me, if it's in the context of measuring distance, then this is meter. Like I don't even give a second thought, but it came from the rice, like everyday life supporting ingredient of humans. But then this na, it means soak. So nothing actually in their original meaning have anything with nanometer. So I guess that's the one other solution Chinese has when it comes to technology, technical term translation, because it became so foreign to this culture. You cannot even draw similarities of something even close to that. So nanometer in English, then we just use the sound translation. The closest we come up with 纳米. Okay, so that's nanometer. Okay, and 技术 is a better translation because it didn't follow the sound. Technology, it doesn't sound 技术, but 技 and 术 existed in Chinese, and somebody can find such corresponding practice in Chinese that relates to what technology is about. It's about craftsmanship. It's about how you tackle things, the know-how, and which is this tactics. Okay, let's unpack each of them. So 那, we have the fabric or thread symbol on the left, which are, I would interpret two spools of thread connected by this continuation of thread, and then they're made into a fabric, a drapey look of the fabric. And so that's thread. Another way of looking at it, just to look at it, it could be another interpretation is the thread most of the time came from nature. It's fibers from nature, plant-based, unless it's silk, right? That's animal-based. But plant-based, cotton, flax, all came from the earth. And the plant-based, the root, and this is the same as the root symbol. So instead of growing a tree, we use the nature-made fibers, made it into spools of thread. So that's another interpretation that just came up with. And now we have this space, and then this punctuation of space means entering into space. This punctuation probably pointed upside down, but this shape, it has a sharp edge to it, right? And it's entering into, probably it's, I'm imagining again, okay, this is a space and you puncture through it, right? And now you can spread out to take up in the space. It could be another, but because Chinese is a freeze screen, you only see this 2D image. The process you don't get to see. And it could be working like that. It means entering a space and then you spread out so that you stay in there. You don't get out easily now. And this means inside, pronounced as nei. And when it pairs with this fiber or fabric icon, it means soaking the fabric in water. There's no water sign yet, but if we're already, because fabric or thread is already very small, fine things, and how to enter such small, fine things, it seems like only water can enter it. And when we put a fabric, soak it in the water, we can imagine that's the water's tiny drips of water that's entering inside the thread or the fabric. Anyways, together it means soak. We use it because it means, it sounds like nano. Okay, mi, we have this cross symbol, And I view that as the classification, like you have kind of a quadrant. Ancient times, because it's an agrarian society, how to classify the grade level of your rice is super important, right? So this quadrant means you're kind of grading the rice, how it ties with how much you get paid, right? It's super important. And then the 4 diagonal lines, sort of like this, are simply representation of the grains, the rice grains, individual pieces scattered up there. And it's almost like within this quadrant, each quadrant got at least one piece. We only need one piece to represent, okay, there are things classified in there. And eventually that means rice coming from this, did I say coming? Comes from this rice classification practice. Okay, again, this is a sound translation. 纳米 together is nano. I guess we skipped the meter part. And technology, we have crafts made of 3-finger hand symbol and 5-finger hand symbol in one frame. And the 3-finger hand symbol is holding a piece of bamboo. This is Chinese bamboo icon. Most of Chinese plant like this is a crop, have their top portion pointing upward because they're sun facing, they're going upward. Only bamboo, we're depicting bamboo as with its drapey bamboo leaves look. So you can see how special bamboo is as a plant for Chinese. We use it a lot in our crafts of making utensils, chopsticks, right? Cooking like steamers, chairs, tables, bed frames, all that can be made from bamboo because they're sturdy enough, they're light as well, and they are cheap, readily available. So this hand holding, processing the bamboo stuff, that gives you the sense of it's hand making something useful, right? And then the 5-finger hand symbol with the tilted middle finger, it doesn't mean ancient Chinese knows how to flip already. It's a differentiator because we have the hair symbol looking exactly like that, because the hair is kind of horizontal going, it's anti-gravity a little bit, right? It's puffing sideways and it ends up looking the same as a hand symbol. So somebody decided, okay, tilted toward the left, that means the hair, tilted toward the right, that means the hand. Hand symbol, 5-finger put in there, that means it's something related to handmade or hand craftsman. Hand making stuff, okay? So together represent craftsmanship. That's Ji, okay. And Shu. There is a missing part that was not incorporated into this icon, but there is this 3-stroke walking symbol. Walking symbol originally came from like 3 strokes on the left and 3 strokes on the right. That simply are the footsteps. When we walk left and right, 3 means multitudes already, many of them. And eventually, because this walking was so useful, it's a so much big part of a daily activity, we incorporated it a lot into other, making deeper, like derived meanings. So we get rid of the right side and using the left side and extend the bottom last stroke, make it kind of vertically standing. So it kind of hold up the top 2, visually make it more stable. That becomes this icon on the left here. That means walking. And the right side means sticky rice together. So we have this plant symbol, canopy of the tree, root of the tree connected with the trunk of the tree. So that's our tree symbol. And the tip of the tree got bended. That's a language depiction of how when it ripes, the top portion of the canopy, right? The branches are going to, imagine a fruit tree, right? Are going to hang low. So that's the ripening image. And eventually that used on crops, mostly wheat or, okay, either it's rice or wheat type of grains. And that's the harvesting, ready to be harvested crop symbol. And then right side, we have the, again, 3-finger hand symbol, but the difference is it has a dot here next to the finger. It has 2 dots here next to your wrist, right? This is a 3-finger hand symbol. You have 2 dots in here and 1 dot in here. That shows the stickiness of the rice you are processing. So I guess somebody who need to take out the sticky rice from the sticky crop, they got this rice sticking on their hand. That's the depicting the food processing process of handling sticky rice. So together with this sticky rice hand symbol next to the crop, it gives you the image of it's a sticky rice. So sticky rice with walking symbol was used as the road inside the city. So when I say road and city, please don't plug in the contemporary lives, like big urban settings that you have paved road and you have tall rise buildings. Ancient society looks different. Imagine Oriental, imagine Eastern, but it's not a village, it's a city. So city defined in the East, I think probably in the West as well. It's almost like this castle looking thing, right? It has to be walled in. It's an enclosure. So things within are defensible, protected by the walls. And inside the city, higher density of population, different walks of life cohabit inside this enclosure, right? And between different, I guess there are different, is it called a zoning? Zoning happening in ancient societies as well. So designate areas for different type of trade, different type of markets exist, right? And different pathways were built so that you know from A to B how to plot. So before GPS time, right? Ancient people have to build up this this intricate network of pathways inside the city. So if you're new to that city, probably you will spend quite some time to figure out, or somebody has to give you orientation, how the city lay out. Or it could be there were some model city and things are laid out in similar ways. So you have fish market versus rice market, maybe lay out similarly. We don't exactly know. That it's easier to figure out the layout of another city if you're a visitor. But in any case, this intricate pathways inside the city was representative of that. And then you say, okay, I can understand the walking represent the road work, but what sticky rice has to do with that? Okay, I have to plug in some of my imagination over there. Sticky rice probably was a transfer of this stickiness, but it has nothing to do with rice. The stickiness probably was the ancient technology to build the road. Because I rode on gravel roads before. So gravel roads was not the paved road. Paved road already something stick together, forms stable structure over there that you can, the cars or the bicycles can go over. But gravel roads are simply gravels on there. And if you ride over that, the gravels can scatter. Quickly that gravel road, the gravel is gone, right? So I would imagine ancient technology would have sort of like a gravels laying together. So it's easier to walk on. Instead of a dusty surface, you have this gravel covered surface. But for the gravels to stick together, you have to use a certain sticky technology to contain the gravels within that pathway. That's my imagination. Okay, so this sticky pathways then inside the city got implied or transferred to mean even grander scale things that you figure your way out. You kind of know your orientation, how to get from A to B. And that eventually means tactics. It means you know your ways, you know how to get there. You have the know-how. So not only you know the layout of things, you know how to get from A to B. And that comes in handy in a lot of things, right? Because in contemporary modern manufacturing, you have to not only have the tools or the hands, the labors to do things, you have to have the know-how from A to B, you have this set of input, and through the middle process, you have the set of output, right? So that is this tactics, this road work, this roadmap, then transferred to this tactics. And crafts and tactics simply is a Chinese translation of technology that represent, you know how to do things. And it came from this handwork. You see hand symbol in both. It's agriculture based, either handling bamboo or handling sticky rice. It's ancient handling, processing of the worldly material. Well, it doesn't sound right. Earth-produced, earth-based material and use it for human purpose, right? And that ancient practice transferred to today's technology, which, in manufacturing setting feels very different. But the concept of that can be transferred. Okay, 纳米技术 is simply nanotechnology. And one thing I want to point out, when I was searching for nanotechnology, I thought that's two words because in Chinese it's a nanometer, and technology, right? It's technically two separate concepts combined together, but English already merged them into one word without any dash line, any separation. It becomes one. So that shows how much that technology was accepted, incorporated into our daily language. And this is simply, it's a picture, I guess, is to create a circus board with a certain type of tools. And that's kind of a beginning because it's still visually understandable for us and the representation of nanotechnology. All right. That's it for today. Thank you for your time. See you next time.